knocked out. We're down to the last 4 weeks now of this year's hurricane season, and while forecasters won't say we're out of the woods yet, they are saying this has been something of an unusual year for the big storms. Al Sunshine has more.
Forecasters at the National Hurricane Center are having pretty easy days lately. The 1981 hurricane season is entering its final month. Fortunately, it's been quiet in the eastern Atlantic since the end of September and the season's last hurricane, Irene. The 1981 season has been unique, experts say, because only one hurricane hit the U.S. mainland, Hurricane Dennis. When it was over South Florida, Dennis was just a tropical storm. Though Dennis didn't pack the damaging high winds of a killer storm, it still dropped record-breaking rains on South Florida. But aside from Dennis, no other bad storms threatened the U.S.
There were a series of storms that followed in quick succession. Gert, Emily, Floyd, Harvey, and Irene all followed in the wake of the previous storm, and so it left a weakness in the Atlantic Ridge, which allowed the storms to recurve rather than continuing on westward.
Researchers say the Atlantic's high-pressure ridge steered the big storms away from the U.S. mainland. Late October and early November marked the beginning of the end of the time when hurricanes are most likely to form.
From a statistical basis, being in the latter part of October, we should be right at the tail end of the hurricane season. It's very infrequent to get a November storm, but last year there were 2 November storms. However, these tend to be very weak and tend to be at sea, and so from a statistical point of view, at least, we should be just about at the end of the hurricane season.
The hurricane season runs through November 30th, and forecasters here say the eastern Atlantic appears to be pretty quiet, with not much likelihood of any major storm development within the near future. Al Sunshine, Channel 4 News at the National Hurricane Center.
Interior Secretary James Watt has drastically scaled back federal programs to buy land in environmentally sensitive areas during his tenure, and that has aroused the ire of conservationists. In Florida, anti-Watt forces want the state legislature to join in the fray. Karen Nash explains.
Preservation of the Everglades, Florida's wilderness and primary source of its drinking water, is a major concern of South Florida conservationists. Now they feel the commitment of past administrations to protect the Everglades is being betrayed by President Reagan's Secretary of the Interior, James Watt. 10,000 acres of the Everglades are still privately owned. Environmentalists say the federal government has been committed to buying that land for the past 40 years. But with Watt's 60 to 80% cut in land acquisition money, that plan has gone by the boards. The Florida legislature is being asked to pass a resolution asking President Reagan to replace Watt by State Representative Harold Dyer. Dyer doesn't believe the Interior Secretary can just be following the president's policies.
I think he probably speaks to a policy format that maybe the president has spoken to, but certainly some of his actions go far beyond what I think the president would really want to do.
Can ignore the growing discontent with Watt that's been expressed by both Republican and Democratic environmentalists across the country. Karen Nash, Channel 4 News, Broward County.